Hi, Gorman Bentley here, and this is my very first YouTube video, so be a little patient and understanding as I'm learning the process. I am an art educator in my retirement and also an artist, and there's a lot I've learned in the last 10 years being retired and visiting a lot of museums and making a lot of art that I'd like to just pass on. One of them is how to actually just look at art. I went to art history classes and I took a lot of art in college and I visited a lot of museums, and so one would think I knew how to look at art, and I thought I did too. But when I got trained to be an art educator, I went through a more rigorous process of how to look at art that I really wish I had known so much earlier, so I would have enjoyed all those things I did a lot better. So I'm just going to walk you through a real simplified version of that training that I got, and maybe it will help you next time that you're looking at art. And I'll use one of my own paintings as the example for this. And if you have any questions or comments, put them below and I'll figure it out. Okay, let's get started. Looking at art is really a three-step or three-level process. The first is just simply what we call smell the paint. Just look at paint. In this case, on the painting behind me, probably the best way to start is looking at the corners. So just look at the corner here, look at the corner over here, look at the corner down here, look at the corner over here. Actually, I'm off the camera, sorry about that. And then after you've looked at the corners and just got the idea that the painting is dark, it doesn't have a lot of forms in it. That's your first awareness. Then start from the center bottom and move up. That's for most portraits, most landscapes, even sculpture as well. We don't look at people that way, so we're trained to look from the top down, but it will be helpful to start from the bottom up. That's how we actually are rooted as plants and humans. So once when you've smelled the paint and looked at all the paint and not tried to figure out anything, you've completed level one. Just look at the color, look at the forms, maybe look at the texture. Then the second level is to do thinking. So thinking would be, what am I looking at? Sometimes it's figurative, meaning you can recognize some things in it. And sometimes it's non-objective, meaning you are only going to look more detailed at forms and colors. In this case, it's somewhat figurative in that you probably have recognized something that looks like a leg. So that would be part of level two, identifying, is it a non-objective? Is it figurative? What am I looking at? At this point, it's really great to be able to have someone to talk to, which is a good reason to bring a friend to a museum, and find out through their eyes, what do they see? What do they notice? Then start looking at some details, like there is certain kinds of areas in this leg that would make you think that it is not a real leg, it's sort of a statue or stone or something of a leg. So now we're getting into it's not living flesh. It's either historic sculpture, or maybe the figurative is just simply a metaphor for something else. Also in level two, which is the thinking level, would be the time to read a label, and not before this time in a museum. So the label would give you information, and in this case, I'll just give you information. I take yoga classes fairly regularly, and one of the stories that really inspires me is the story of Shiva coming from the ground with swords in hand to be able to conquer evil and demons. And in one story, it's a king who was evil. So the concept of Shiva doing that gives you poses in yoga. There's a warrior one pose, which is similar to where the front leg is in this painting. There's a warrior two that is also the same leg. So the concept of being ready to fight, defend, and make right is in this leg pose. So that takes us up to level 3. Level 3 is the feeling stage, and we often don't get to that looking at art, which is tragic. So think of like your favorite song or your favorite book or your favorite movie, how it changed your life. Well, your favorite painting or sculpture could do that exact same thing, but you have to get there. So in this case, you have now looked at something for quite a while, talked and thought about it, really smelled the paint on it for a while, and now you're ready to make an emotional connection to it. In my case, and it should be different for everyone, in my case, I've often not defended myself as well as I should have when I should have. And so the inspiration and the feeling I get from this particular pose in yoga is to be strong, to actually be ready to defend yourself, ready to defend what you believe. I like this painting so well for how it makes me feel that it is the one I have over my mantle in my front room. So it has a place of honor and it has spotlights on it, so that I am regularly reminded of that. So just in review, how to look at art. 1, just smell the paint. Just look at forms and shapes and don't get into thinking at the beginning. Just look. Number 2, or level 2, actually start now figuring out, what am I looking at? What makes me think that? What does the artist say on the label? What does the curator say about it? What does my friends say about it? It really is the bulk of the time to be able to connect to it, which is the third level. And the third level is it becomes a part of your life. You now own this work in your own heart and soul. When you navigate a museum, level 1 should be for every object in the museum. Just walk the halls and smell. Just look at the colors and the shapes and the forms and breathe and just take it in. Level 2, if you have about 2 hours in a museum, you might have maybe time for 10 things where you actually stop, figure things out, talk to people, read the label, maybe take out that phone and Google and find out more. That's maybe only for 10 things, even in a large museum. And for level 3, what are you taking home with you for your life? You'll be hopefully successful if you can do it with just 1. Find that one work that you want to revisit while you're still in the museum, and the one that you plan to go back to either in your mind and or physically, because it's made such a huge connection for you. And when there's times you need that feeling, that image comes to your mind. So there you have it. It took me a lot of training and a lot of years to be able to understand how to look at art. But if you can do that, you will have a much better experience And if you pick up that one level 3 every time that you go to a museum, you'll have quite a catalog of art references for your own personal well-being and development.